I think it's good form to have a bolster underneath the leg. Keep that parallel, okay? Keep the femur parallel. What you're going to ask first is for the person to fully extend their leg, okay? Come all the way down for me, all the way down. And go ahead, do that yourself. Good. And then what you're going to do is, I think, what you should be doing is, I just want to make sure your book does it. You know, you should try, have to, where's the extension? Hold the end position against maximum resistance. Okay. Okay, there you go. With the knee and the fully extended position, hold on, let me push you down. Now, normal, you should never, ever, ever, person should be able to hold that against you. I mean, this is an extraordinarily strong position for the knee, okay? So that's 3, 4, 5, okay? For 0, 1, and 2, we're going to be in side line, so let me have you lay on your side. As the therapist, I have to support the knee. I have to support the knee and leg and have him, as best you can, kick your leg all the way out for me and see, can he get it all the way, okay? You want him to go through as full a range of motion as possible, so start him in a fully flexed position and go ahead, kick your leg out. Just supporting the weight of the leg. If he moves it through full range, it's a 2, partial 2 minus. If it doesn't move it at all, then I'm just palpating the quads and seeing if he can activate that. You could even, if you're, instead of having to palpate here, you could very easily lay him on supine, and ask him to try to fire his quads in supine and palpate for that, okay? For the hamstrings, we're gonna have the person lay on their stomach. There's the full test is when you test both the medial and lateral hamstrings at the same time. So what I'm going to ask the person to do is to bend their knee all the way for me as best they can. See, can they go any further? We had this discussion before. When the person performs their full active motion, it is good form to come in and see, was that all the available motion? I expect to get some more motion, but not a lot more, right? So in this instance, when he bends his knee all the way up, all the way for me, and I put my hand in and I go, yeah, he goes further, but that's maybe like 5 degrees more. That I would consider to be their full, that they went through their full available range of motion, right? Now, if he was coming up and he stopped around there and I'm like, okay, can you go further or not?
Does it matter if his foot is pointed or flat?
For this one, not so much because you're bending the leg, and so that the gastrocs are actually getting shorter as you come over the top. So that one, it shouldn't matter so much if their ankle is dorsiflexed or flexed while they're doing that.
When you're doing it, it looks like he's arching his back at the very end.
It's my bad knee.
Because it's his bad knee. Bend your leg for me. And then we'll see what he doesn't do it then because he knows you're watching now. So those are little compensation things you can look for, but the most important thing in this instance is that he does get through the full amount of motion, because I'm looking out from the pelvis to here. So arching his back and all that isn't going to influence that so much, okay? So the test for the resistance, I'm going to have his knee in this 90-degree position, and I'm going to push him at 90 degrees outward this way. So hold on, let me move you. And I'm looking for 3, 4, 5. Okay? How much resistance you can take. For the 0, 1, 2, again, it's side lying. It's the same thing as extension, except now you're asking the person to flex. So I'm not going to demonstrate that one. However, if you want to tease out the medial and lateral hamstrings, you are going to internally or externally rotate the leg first, okay? For the medial hamstrings, you need to internally rotate the leg. So the first thing you can do is you can pre-position their femur into internal rotation, and now ask the person to bend their knee all the way as best they can. When I give the resistance, the knee should be in less than 90 degrees, your book says. So you should actually have them out, extended a little bit more. And now I'm going to say, hold on, let me move you. And what you can see is how he's really biasing his medial hamstrings here. For the lateral hamstrings, we're going to externally rotate his hip, and then go ahead, go through that motion. And I'm going to bring him out to less than 90, and I'm going to say, hold on, let me push you outward there. And the idea is he should be biasing more his lateral hamstring. What you're doing by internally and externally rotating the hip is you are putting, for internal rotation, you're putting that medial hamstring right vertical in line with gravity. So the idea is that you might be biasing this one more than the lateral ones. And conversely, when I internally rotate him all the way, now it's his lateral hamstrings that are more vertical in line with gravity, where the medial hamstrings are not anymore. Does this completely eliminate one or the other? The answer is most likely no, but that's just if you wanted to ever bias those out, you could do that, okay?
When you say in line with gravity, because gravity's going this way.
Well, gravity's going down, so but what it's having to do is that limb, this muscle is the primary pull. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Gravity's going this way, and that muscle is directly perpendicular to gravity, if I said that.
Okay.
Versus this one, now these muscles are over here to the side.
Mm-hmm.
These are more in a gravity, quote-unquote, minimized position. This is more of an anti-gravity position. This is more of a gravity minimized position. Is that a better,
That makes sense.
better terminology to use?
I know you said less than 90 degrees of flexion. How much did you say for the actual internal and external degrees?
That you take them,
All the way?
yeah, pretty much all the way, yeah. Because you're trying to bias that out more, yeah. Mm-hmm.